Get in, nerds! We're playing Victoria 3. We're still working on getting women to vote and expanding our dockyards to the point where we can finally stop worrying about where our convoy situation is at. I really thought this technology was going to solve it, the concrete dockyards one, but apparently not. Even so, shouldn't be that big of a deal. In terms of other stuff, the market is still pretty short on lead. I'm really not sure why the capitalists aren't building more lead mines, because I feel like that's the sort of thing that they should be doing. But I don't know. I don't want to necessarily queue them up on my own just because, like... Oh, never mind. I'm maxed out. That's why. That's right. It's sulfur that we've got a bunch of. Alright, well... unfortunately, we're going to need to import some lead. First of all, are we exporting any lead? No. Are we importing any lead? Also no. Alright, so we can pull some in. Let's get it from Great Britain and the Netherlands. And that should sort out our lead situation. That's a little bit troubling, to be honest. Hey, Finland. Change to our customs union if we owe an obligation. Well, let's form a defensive pact, first of all. I do want to be good friends with Finland. I've been bankrolling them for a while. How much is that actually costing me? Let's do that. Oh, not much at all. Accept our defensive pact. If we owe them an obligation, they would be in our customs union. So let's do it. I don't foresee Finland starting any wars or anything like that anytime soon. Excellent. Wonderful. So now Finland is in our customs union. And let's see how that's affected our market. There's buy orders for coffee and fruit. And a lot more buy orders for tobacco. Very interesting. Alright, well, let's import some of that. Get some fruit from... Go with the... let's go with the Mexican market. And we'll get some from Colombia as well. We need more tobacco. We're getting that from trade routes. Our existing tobacco trade routes should supply... yeah, we're getting it from Bahrain. It says it's going down. Let's get some from America then. And some from... Asset? I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Should help that out. And then coffee. Get coffee from somewhere. Let's get it from La Hedge. I missed it. Hold on. Hold on. I got a coffee route nobody asked for. Oh, they're actually kind of productive. This one's from Haiti. Oh, excellent. Well, cool. I've got an export route of ammunition to Great Britain that I don't need to be doing. So we'll leave that behind. Other than that, all of our routes are productive. We're exporting some fine art to Great Britain. That's unproductive. We can get rid of that. We don't want to export art right now. We don't want to necessarily export fish right now, so we'll scrap that as well. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Some of these furniture trade routes have ceased to be productive. Curious. And some of these grain routes as well. Well, that's a shame. Why are the grain routes at the bottom? So there's a revolution in Belgium again. I felt like there was just a Belgian revolution before. So this is the United States of Belgium, a presidential republic with wealth voting. And this is Flanders. Oh, the Belgian proletarian revolt. I'm just going to go ahead and not worry about it. But it is an interesting proposition. True. So, what about our other trade routes? Again, I'm not going to put the kibosh on either of these trade routes for coal because we need so much of that. We do an unproductive export route to Great Britain of artillery. I am going to scrap that. Let's see what else. This one's very close, very marginal, so I'm not going to worry about it. Export routes to Russia and Prussia of hardwood that I'm going to remove. Here's some export routes for ironclads that... Well, the one to Great Britain is almost productive, so I'm not worried about that one, but the one to Prussia can certainly go. See, we've got export routes of liquor. Yeah, these ones have become unproductive. I don't know why the scroll bar keeps sliding back up to the top with this, but it's not my favorite. That said, it's also not a tragedy. Very unproductive export route of luxury clothes to Great Britain. Lose that. Very unproductive import route of man-o-wars from France. Lose that. Do we even have any buildings that use man-o-wars? No. Okay, so we don't need either of those routes, really. So we don't need any man-o-wars right now. Cool. Unproductive export route of paper to Russia. Again, not very unproductive, though. Basically, anytime it's less than 10 or less than 1 per unit, I mostly ignore it. Those trade routes generally don't affect things too much. Unproductive export route of steel to Prussia, though. That can go. And all the way at the bottom, we got a couple of really bad wine routes. I don't know how those became unproductive, but we can get rid of them. Alright. Everything else seems basically productive, and now we've saved ourselves a little bit of convoys here. So we'll go ahead and do that. How's the base level of our market? We're short on rubber. Interesting. Why are... Ah, because we've been using it for textile mills. Well, that's fine. Get some from the Dutch. Although not that much. Again, we're again in the situation where rubber is kind of a high-tech resource, and the AI is not proving very productive and ensuring that it does its thing. Why are all these places... Oh, it must be Britain's in a war. Yeah, oh, the British and French are... They can't be still fighting. So perhaps they're fighting again. There's no way they're still fighting, because they were fighting before, and that was a few episodes ago. Maybe they decided to get fighty as part of this war. No, okay, what are they fighting about? What are you fighting about today? It's that same war. It's still going on. Gosh. 750k casualties on the British side. Actually, closer to 800 casualties. 850, really. And then closing in on 450k casualties on the French side. Cost of war is listed as 27.4 thousand on the French side. I don't believe that. That doesn't seem right to me. The French are fully mobilized. Maybe this isn't appropriately bringing in the cost for the Allies on this side. British side, 22 million pounds. A very unproductive endeavor. War, I'm against it. How much electricity would it cost to flip these over to electric fences? I feel like not that much. What's our electricity market? It's actually pretty well balanced. We could afford it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I know it keeps saying these livestock ranches will become less productive, but El Salvador. But it never seems to be happening, which kind of makes me sad. This rubber shortage is reducing the efficiency of my textile mills, though, and I'm not a giant fan of that. I wonder if the issue is that a lot of these is that there's a blockage in the British. I think that's what's going on. Why India and a lot of these other countries are really light, because they have reduced market access. And I think the reason they have reduced market access is because there's been a lot of convoy raiding in this war. And I think that's why these things aren't working properly. So what that means is that I think I'm gonna not worry about it. So France is taking control of Sierra Leone. Although Sierra Leone is having a peasant revolt, so who knows how that's going to affect things. Hamburg. Where's Hamburg? It's over here. Hamburg is not currently occupied, but I don't know how the French intend to get there, because fighting the British in the English Channel seems like a terrible proposition. Very unproductive. I'm just going to go ahead and build up some more ports, friends. I don't really know what to do about this whole situation with our convoys other than to just build more ports. It's going to reduce our surplus, but it'll be useful. I think after that, we're going to build up some more whaling stations. Our whaling station capacity is actually pretty low, but our oil needs are pretty modest, so I'm hoping they'll actually be able to provide all the oil that we need, and then we won't have to go to other places. Because again, this is not a colonization run. We're not going to be going to other countries to steal their stuff, or their resources, or however you want to put it. To steal their resources out of the ground or anything like that. The Ottoman Empire, I keep forgetting, yeah, the Ottoman Empire is still unrecognized. And they've got a regressive governor now, which is unfortunate for them, but it is what it is. Anyway, friends, I'm not sure this war is going to stop anytime soon. Because I don't think Britain's going to conquer France. I don't think it's going to get access to Krakow, unless it invades Austria. Selangor does not appear to be occupied. So I guess this means the French are winning? Except all this territory is occupied by maybe a British ally? Can't tell. I'm not sure what I'm trying to find the country that's got that as the flag. Zanzibar. Oh, Zanzibar is a British ally. That's interesting. A British puppet, rather. It's in the Empire. Interesting. Petit bourgeoisie weakened in power. Curious, very curious. Seems that the United States of America has chilled somewhat. No, they haven't gotten Alaska yet. They haven't gone on to do more conquests or anything like that. Let's... Oh, we're already at... Oh no, I don't have the capacity. Malaria prevention. That's fine. That's a completely colonization-related technology. I don't need to necessarily worry about that. So, under production, do we have anything spreading to us right now? We don't. Oh, we do. We have reinforced concrete spreading to us. That's actually good. I'm glad of that. But Excellent. So that's just an increase in throughput of the construction sectors. So that means we're on the forefront of production, and we should get a level 4 tech spreading to us. International exchange standards and combustion engine. Wonderful. Under society, international exchange standards gives us a minting bonus and reduced loan interest, which is excellent. Right now we're getting 82.4k from minting, but the bonus isn't going to affect it as much because we've got a bunch of bonuses from techs already. So it's probably only going to increase it by about 6k, because that's our base amount from, because that's 10% of our base amount from GDP. Which is modest, but it's not nothing. We're operating on a pretty tight margin here. We finally got... I was about to say we finally got ourselves sorted on convoys, but we didn't. We immediately went back down again. Friends, this whole business with... I know trade is good, but it's not this good. Maintaining trade routes is very difficult in the late game. That's what I'm learning here. Trade route with Mexico is not as productive as I'd like it to be, so it's gotta go. No, our trade route with Colombia is not effective. But it's close. This one's gotta go. Dynam, why aren't you producing the dyes that I want? I'm gonna leave that one because I'm chronically short on dyes. This rubber situation is a real bummer, I gotta tell you. Oh, tea situation. Not good. This war is causing all sorts of shortages in Sweden, and in Norway, and in Denmark, and in Iceland, and I am not a fan. Friends, I'm not a fan, have to say. I don't love it. What is the investment pool? The investment pool's doing pretty well. It's funding a lot of construction. Livestock ranches are slowly climbing in productivity, which is good. Uh-oh. There's a sugar shortage. Can we import sugar from a market that's not in a war? Oh, there are actually quite a few we can get sugar from. Cool. Let's get it from Spain. That will be very productive. And in the meanwhile, I can cancel my sugar imports from markets that are kind of messed up. The British market. So this sugar import should be sorting out my sugar situation. We're still talking about the rubber import, but I can't get rubber from anywhere else. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. So now these are going down. It's hard to maintain a functioning trade network in this strange timeline we're in. Two Sicilies, you're not in a war, are you? Okay, no, you're not. There's a diplomatic play going on over here, but that's not important. Oh my gosh, they tried to invade France. That's bananas. Opium shortage, too. Gosh. Great Britain, France, can you sort yourselves out, please? This is affecting my standard of living here. I have 3,000 radicals. Do you know how many radicals that is compared to the number of radicals I've been having before? It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. There's a secession movement happening in Indochina. Not sure where, though. Karen uprising. Oh, nope, not this. Where are you? Here. Ah, yes. So it's against the British Raj, but it's technically here. And then Burma's a French colony? Interesting. Oh yeah, looks like it got all those things. Yeah, there's just a global rubber shortage. There's no other way to put it. So where are we in terms of the shortage? Shortage is extremely significant. I'm just importing sugar from wherever I can get it at this point, because sugar is so expensive. Just trying to keep these grocery buildings productive. Okay, so now that the war's over, I'm hoping this will climb back up, and we won't have to worry about stuff as much. But if this rubber shortage persists, I'm gonna... Gosh, this is so strange. I don't understand why the numbers keep going up and down. So we're getting some from France, we're getting some from Britain. Okay, and now the number from France went up again. I wonder if this is a convoys thing? I think it might be a convoys thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a bunch more ports. And hopefully that will help me not have a convoys problem. It'll keep me in a surplus for now. It'll be quite a few weeks, but... How much do these produce per level? They produce 200 convoys per level, so I'm increasing my convoy count by 1,000. So that should be pretty productive. Socialist internationalism. The Communist Party is receiving electoral campaign support from the Communist Party in Prussia. Prussian socialists are welcome here. And communist ideology will be more likely to appear in our country, or try to limit foreign influence in the election. I think we're going to do this. I don't know what's going on over there in Prussia, but universal suffrage monarchy, local police force, the government is armed forces, landowners, and evangelical church. Doesn't seem like there's much of a socialist presence at all. Oh, it's just the intelligentsia. I don't want to worry about that. So, where is the momentum? The communists have got quite a lot, it looks like. The Radical People's Party, less so. The Communist Party... it's finally gotten itself together and merged the trade unions, the intelligentsia, and the armed forces. So probably that's going to mean a communist victory in the upcoming election. Almost assuredly. Which we've been kind of expecting for some time, but you know, we'll see how that goes. How's the rubber situation? So I'm going to watch and see if it varies with my number of convoys, because that's probably partially a factor. If building these new ports doesn't solve the rubber shortage, then essentially my plan is to just cut one of the elastics production methods for that building. I wish I could build a port here in Ireland, but I cannot. Again, I wish the convoys thing were a little bit more transparent. Or rather, I just kind of wish I understood it better. Because I feel like that's the core problem, is that I don't always get what's going on with the whole convoy situation. So we're just keeping watch on this for a while, and attendance in our election. Haven't had many events. Theater arts. The end of the century. With the coming end of the century, a literary and artistic movement expressing pessimism and fear of societal degradation has swept through Scandinavia. I hope tomorrow will be a fine day, Lane. It never is, sir. Lane, you're a perfect pessimist. I do my best to give satisfaction, sir. The world is getting better. Have they not seen our GDP figures? Let's see. Fin de siècle thought. Fin de siècle thought. State penalties, increased state penalties from turmoil, increased arts academy throughput, academics become more radical. There's a seed of pessimism in all our hearts. Same things, but more so. I don't wish to have state penalties from turmoil going up, or radical academics. I don't think Arts Academy's buildings are that big of a deal, personally, so I think I'm going to go with this first one. And then God's Will. Yes, this is the God's Will election thing. I'm going to go with the Communist Party because I don't want to give more power to the... How? Are my trade routes just growing out of control right now? Is that... I think that's what's happening. I think my trade routes are just going ballistic. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop faffing with this, and we're just going to build up an absolutely absurd number of ports. And what that's going to do is it's going to cost the government a bunch of money, but it's also going to hopefully put the kibosh on this whole situation of me not being able to work my own trade routes for the foreseeable future. And it's going to help out with our market and all that stuff. So not shockingly, the Communist Party has won the election. So let's see how it goes. If we pull them in, we're just at 51. Pulling the Radical People's Party, we're at 57. That's a shock. I would have thought these guys would align better, but they don't. And I guess the RPP had a lot of popularity. Anyway, that's the government, friends. Why is the head of the Communist Party, or the... Why do I keep getting cruel jerks in heading up my government? Unreasonable. I dislike it. See, this is... The drop in standard of living is really, really noticeable. But again, hopefully getting another extremely large round of ports built will hopefully solve this import-export problem and let me focus on dealing with the things that matter. I also kind of got this downer music. Let's get going here. I know I always skip Death March. I've been doing it every time, but I just, like... Dreaming of the Future feels like it goes on forever, and I think it might just be that it, like, in the track list, it's also behind kind of a downer song. So I think that's what happens. So we got bolt-action rifle spreading to us, which is pretty good. We got the combustion engine going. Amidst all that business, I forgot to do my automatic bottle blowers thing. So that's going to cost us 670 oil. So let's make sure we have the capacity to produce the oil that we need. And that's going to mean some whaling stations. So We'll do this round of ports, and then we'll bring the whaling stations up, and then we'll get those automatic bottle blowers firing for all of our main glassworks, and then hopefully that'll sort us out. So, whaling stations at the current production method, we're going to have 15 total, and they produce a total of 40 oil. That's going to mean our total oil capacity is 600. So we're not going to be able to get... We're currently already using a bunch on ports, and that number is going to go up. So actually, I think I may have been... It may have been unwise of me. Can I import any oil? There are places that export oil, so I can get oil from abroad. So that's not necessarily bad. So, with those having been built, pull those up to the top. Finally got some convoy capacity. Let's see if it lasts till the end of the week. For now, it's automatic. You didn't like that much at all. Are you still fully employed? No. Alright. Let's go back to doing it manually. That's really curious. I mean, it's not that curious. I just didn't have the oil to support them, but like it's a little wild that it didn't work like that. Maybe I'll try again once I got these new whaling stations built. I honestly really thought I had a lot more whaling capacity than that. On the plus side, my finances as a government seem to have gotten to the point where I can use my entire construction capacity and still increase my financial situation significantly. So that's pretty good. My GDP has continued to slowly go upward, although it's been volatile. So where am I? Okay, settle down. Alright, we've got the combustion engine unlocked. That lets us get motorized recon for barracks and conscription centers. But I'm not actually going to do that because it will... Well, it won't be that much. And we've got a shortage in rubber anyways. Cool. So let's go ahead and do that. But first we need to make sure that we're going to be producing enough cars for it to matter. So we need about 120 cars. This will be 125. That should be fine. Is there a place we've got 4 levels? There's not. So we'll produce cars in Scania. Pop these over to motorized. And voila. Seem to be good. So where's cars? Cars are good. We've got 146, and we've got pop consumption of cars. Ooh, an agitator. Exciting. We'll deal with that in a moment. Thought and action. The armed forces are dissatisfied with the inclusion of the intelligentsia in the Scandinavian government. We've seen this event before. I can favor one party, or I can favor the other, or I can lose a bunch of authority. Both armies are very happy. I'm going to favor the soldiers. Because I don't want to get below 10 on either of these. So, how's our oil market? It's looking pretty good. We're spending a bunch on barracks now. Some on food industries. Oh, right, because of vacuum cannon. Yep. That makes sense. It has been exciting times with difficult economic circumstances, friends, but we're going into 1891, and I'm feeling confident and our capacity to remain extremely chill and incredibly relaxed. So, I've had fun. I hope you've had fun. I'll see you all on the other side.